Okay, guys, it's been since, June. It's been since June since I filmed a reading wrap up and a TBR. So I think it's definitely time for one. What do you think? Can you tell what book I'm reading? Can you tell? Does anyone have any idea? Any idea what book I'm reading right now? So I have collected all of the books that I have read since June in the physical copies that I have, and then I also have my Kobo and my Kindle with me, just so that way I can show you some of the covers. So let's go through this, and I do have some thoughts that have changed since I gave my initial review, because if you've been following for a while, you guys know that I vlog pretty much everything that I read. Sometimes I don't, but most of the time I do, or at least I mention it in the vlog. So if you are behind on any of the vlogs, I'll link them below so you can watch the playlist and get caught up. Also, in case you're new here, my name is Summer. I review books, I post book vlogs, I talk a lot about e-readers, as you can tell. So if all of that sounds good to you, please make sure you subscribe and stick around. Let's get into this, and I will tell you all of my thoughts and tell you whether you should read any of these books. Let's get started. I'm gonna put these to the side, and let's figure out what the last book I told you guys about was. I'm actually gonna check my Goodreads challenge because I feel like I don't even remember where I last left off for you guys. So let's look at my Goodreads here. And if you don't follow me on Goodreads, I'll link that below too, but it's just at @SummerSayer. Okay. I think the last time I talked about books was, oh my God, am I gonna have to rewatch my own video? No, I think I had just read, I think that I need to start with The Housemaid Secret. Well, this isn't great. There's something going on with my Kindle. I can swipe down, but I can't get back to the home. Like normally if you tap up here, it's supposed to let you go home, but that's not working. What is going on? We're gonna restart the Kindle. We're just gonna restart. Sometimes in life, you just have to restart. Thank you. I feel like I need the Jeopardy song for this. Me just sitting here waiting, realizing that I actually have some fairly controversial opinions. I was looking at the Goodreads reviews of these, and I don't think that I necessarily agree with other people. So the controversy is possibly real. Okay, looks like we're almost back now. Hopefully this works because I need the Kindle to work to do my job. It's like I have no IT department. I have my own IT department. Oh, I've never seen it say initializing before. That was kind of scary. Okay, well, at least we're back on the home screen. I already returned it, so we're just gonna get a sample so we can get the cover. So this one is on Kindle Unlimited. I like to tell you guys when they're on Kindle Unlimited because I don't know, I feel like I really need to do that recommendations video. Give this video a like if you would like to see Kindle recommendations, because I kind of fell off the face of the planet about that, but I still would like to do it. So let me know if you're interested. So let's get the cover on here. This is book 2 of 3 in the Housemaid series. Hello? What is up with my Kindle today? Oh. Kindle, are you okay? There we go. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, this video is not like my other wrap-ups. This one, I think I'm just going to leave all the bloopers in, and I hope it makes you guys laugh. The Housemaid Secret by Freida McFadden. This is the second one in the Housemaid series. And I read the first Housemaid series, like literally, I think January 1st or something. I'd have to go back and look at my Goodreads, but I was in the biggest reading slump of all time when my friend Brooke, shout out Brooke, thank you so much for getting me out of that reading slump, suggested that I read the first Housemaid book in this series, and it changed me. it was actually, I feel like part of the reason I started reading more and part of the reason I started making booktube books or booktube videos, I should say, not booktube books, but part of the reason that I joined booktube, because I was like, wait, I need to talk to people about these things. So that was kind of a gateway book to booktube. But then I wanted to kind of space out the second one, and then the third one came out pretty recently. But I wanted to space them out just because I just wanted to make sure I had one available because they really help get me out of a reading slump. So this one was no different. This one, I didn't know how on earth she was going to continue it from the first one, because if you've read the first one, you're like, wait, how is there a second one? Similar to how is there a third one based on what happens. But she did a really great job. I love Freida. She just is always such an easy read. And I feel like part of the reason you can get into a reading slump is because you're just not into the book. And I feel like Freida almost just doesn't let you not be in the book. Like she just sucks you in. You're in there, like, good luck. So The Housemaid Secret followed, I don't want to spoil anything from the first book, but let's say it followed a similar trajectory, but it had jaw-dropping moments. Like I was just the entire time like thinking one thing was true. It was completely not true. I thought I had predicted everything. My jaw was dropping. I was gasping. This was a really good thriller. I love the twists and the turns. I've heard maybe book 3 isn't as good, but I started reading book 3 and I got like 6% of the way in, and then I got distracted because I think this book came out. So I think that's what happened there, but I need to go back and read the third one. I did end up giving 5 stars to The Housemaid Secret because I loved it. I wish it was like one of those books that I wish I could go back and read for the first time again, but it's just never the same once you know what happens. So I love this one. And Freida has a new one called The Boyfriend coming out on October 1st, which I'm really excited obviously for, which will also be on Kindle Unlimited. So look out for that one. And another Freida one that I really liked was The Teacher. And I also recently read The Coworker. I don't even know where that went. Like I feel like it was like missing. It was missing on Goodreads and it was missing in a vlog, which is interesting because that whole entire book revolves around a coworker going missing. So I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, I fixed that and now that's on there. So The Housemaid Secret was the first one that I read since I did a little wrap-up video. Loved it. 5 stars. Highly suggest. Let me know your thoughts, non-spoilery, in the comments if you've read any of these, by the way, because I would love to know, since I think my thoughts on some of these are going to be different than yours. And I always love to know your thoughts. So anyway, that was the first one that I read. And the next one that I read after this was Reckless by Lauren Roberts. And this one is the sequel to Powerless by Lauren Roberts, which had some controversy on Book Talk, BookTube, all the book places, because it had some similar tropes to a lot of other popular series. And here's how I feel about that. I feel like that's the reason we all love certain tropes and things. And once I figured out how young Lauren Roberts was and that she didn't think that that was ever going to be published, like she just was like writing that book for herself and including every single thing that she loved in books. Like I love that. Like go off, girl. Do what you want to do, because I think so many people love this series because of that. And I think that some people were upset. I looked at the Goodreads reviews of Reckless. Some people were upset that there was like a lack of plot, which like I can understand where they're coming from, for like if I look at it that way. But I think that's like what this book was supposed to be was not your typical fantasy book. Like it's not what they were expecting it to be, and I think that's why some people were upset. So I would say yes, like this was relatively like all happening like within a very short span of time. I think like, was it like a week or two? I feel like I'd have to go back and look, but I really actually liked it better than Powerless. Powerless, I had some moments where I got a little bit stuck, and then I was really excited to read Reckless. I'd seen this all over Book Talk, and I was just like, I have to join the club. Like I have to know what this is about. And I actually really liked it. It was gritty. It was like it was a lot darker than I expected it to be, but I really liked it. And I ended up giving this one 5 stars as well. And I think if I had to think about it, I liked this one better than Powerless. It's about this girl named Peyton who I don't even want to show you the back because I just realized that actually has spoilers on it, but let me just tell you then. It's about Peyton, and she is like regular. She doesn't have any sort of special powers, and she is powerless. Obviously, that's what the whole Powerless series is about. And there's this whole plague situation, and they're hunting the powerless people so the powerful people can stay in power. There's a lot of pining. There's like a little bit of a love triangle. This actually brought forth shades of One Dark Window, well, actually more like Two Twisted Crowns, the sequel to One Dark Window. And I was kind of impressed by that. It has like medieval vibes, but like medieval Hunger Games. And this one actually felt a little more Throne of Glass-ish, like the first few Throne of Glass books. If you've read Throne of Glass, it was kind of more like that. So it was interesting. It was kind of like a mashup of a lot of different things. And it was left on a cliffhanger. And I'm just like, how are we going to fix this? But I think the next book is coming out next April, I want to say. And I'm really looking forward to reading it. So oh gosh, what is it called? Fearless, I think. I was like, wait, it's something Taylor Swift related. So the next one is called Fearless, and I think it comes out in April. I think it's the last one. I have not read the novella that goes with this one. That is like her friend's novella that's happening at the same time as Powerless and Reckless, I think. And I don't know if I will, just because that plotline broke me, and I don't know that I can handle it anymore. So I really enjoyed this. I like the morally gray main characters made it for me. So if you're into morally gray fantasy, that's kind of Hunger Gamesy, kind of Throne of Glass-ish, this one I think you would really like. But a lot of people didn't love this one as much, but I had the unpopular opinion of actually liking this one better than the first one. Okay, by the time I got this next book, I had purchased the Kobo. If you want to see more about the Kobo, I have so many videos on my channel. I should probably make an entire Kobo playlist. I have Kindle playlists, but the Kobo really took over my channel for a little bit. So this is the Kobo Libra color. As you can see, there's color on this screen, unlike the paperwhite. Where's the paperwhite? This one is black and white e-ink. This one is color. It's a little bit, the quality is like not as sharp, you can see, but I'm gonna do an official comparison video, so make sure you're subscribed to see that. But anyway, back to our book, Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. I was obsessed with this book. It was so different than the two books I'd read before it, because I had read obviously like a thriller book, and then I'd read fantasy, and I was just like needing something a little bit lighter, and this came up as a library hold, which then expired, and then I was able to buy it for like $2. It was my first Kobo buying experience, which was pretty seamless once you put your payment information in. This one was so cute. This one was about this guy is a wedding objector. Like he gets paid by people to object to their weddings. And I would say if you're in a reading slump, this one's a really good one to go. Like if you're not like wanting to turn to a thriller, because I think that's kind of something that I talk about a lot. It's like, oh, if I'm in a reading slump, I'll turn to a thriller. This one was really, really, really good and fast. And I felt like I was in the story. Lynn Painter's humor is amazing, and I can't wait to read more of her books. So Happily Never After was fantastic. And so he is objecting to weddings. She kind of gets dragged into it and she starts objecting to them as well. And they've kind of become a team. Obviously a relationship develops, and I'll have to let you see what happens with that. So it was really good. It reminded me kind of like 27 Dresses, Bride Wars, that kind of like era of early 2000s wedding movies kind of. It kind of gave me those vibes, and I absolutely loved it. It actually also really reminded me of Funny Story. Like once I read Funny Story later, they had kind of similar vibes just with the humor and the relationship and everything. So I absolutely loved this. I flew through it in just a couple of days, I think, and it's just awesome, bubbly, like made me so happy vibes. So if you need a book that you're like, this is just going to make me so happy, and it feels like you're friends with the characters, this is a really good one. So I also gave this one 5 stars. I was just handing out 5 stars like candy, apparently. After that, I read Hey Hun. Kind of funny that this is like the same color scheme as the last one. And this one was suggested to me by my friend Hannah, so thanks Hannah. This one I mostly listened to the audiobook because it was narrated by the author, and I absolutely love when like memoirs or nonfiction are narrated by the author, because it just feels like one long giant podcast and it's really fun. So this one was actually about an MLM, multi-level marketing scheme company, whatever you want to call it. And it talked about her time in one, she like makes up a fake name for one, but I think if you Google it, like there, you can find out which one she was part of. And it talks about how she was making like millions of dollars per year and how her life kind of fell apart, how the MLMs worked on the inside. And it was just kind of fascinating. It was kind of like Undercover Boss, but if Undercover Boss spiraled and just like descended into madness, that's what this book was. And at the end, it took like kind of an interesting turn, but I liked it overall. I think I gave this one 4 stars for 4.5 stars. Again, on Goodreads, I feel like it's hard because you can't do half stars and you just have to round. So I can't remember if on Goodreads I gave this one a 4 or a 5 star, but overall I thoroughly enjoyed it and I wish there was more. And then I started looking for books like this because I was just like, I love memoirs. I love getting to hear it read by the author. And it's just fascinating to me. Like, again, it just feels like one giant podcast. So if you're looking for something that's just, you want to know the inside of what happens in an MLM, if you've ever gotten a message, like I know I definitely have gotten like a Facebook message from someone that I knew in middle school being like, hey, hun, how are you? I just thought this was a funny title too, because I think we've all gotten those messages and maybe even been to an event for one of these things and almost gotten sucked in. Has anyone ever been sucked in? Now I'm really curious. Let me know in the comments if you've ever been messaged or sucked into an MLM. So this one was really, really good too. The next book I read was Funny Story by Emily Henry. I tried to read a couple of other books in between this and I just kept putting them down. They just weren't holding my interest. And I hadn't read this one, but I loved the color. Like I kept walking by it and I feel like even the e-ink on here isn't doing it justice, but in person, the physical books are like this beautiful, like almost like an indigo color, which is my favorite color. It just kept catching my eye and I was like, you know what? Let's try it, because I didn't love Happy Place and I have some friends who are just like huge Emily Henry fans and I wanted to give it a chance. So I thought, all right, I'll try this one. I am obsessed with this book, you guys. I'm obsessed. I loved Miles. I loved the entire concept. Basically what happens is it is kind of a funny story and there's multiple levels to that, but there's this guy named Miles. I'm blanking on her name right now. I don't know why. But Miles has an ex named Petra, and then the main girl's ex, why am I forgetting her name? Her ex's name is Peter, and Peter and Petra are childhood best friends who run off together. So then these two are forced to become roommates because they both need somewhere to live. They get an invite to the wedding, which is hilarious. And then all these things ensue. And it actually had like really, really deep life level relationship stuff too that they had to figure out and navigate with their families and their past and stuff like that. And I just loved it. Miles is one of my new favorite book boyfriends of all time. And you're just gonna have to read it and tell me what you think. So I love this one as well. I loved the audiobook narrator on this one. She's one of my favorite narrators. I feel like she just really got the humor. Like she just told the jokes in the book really well. It's like the worst thing ever when you have an audiobook narrator and like it's just not landing. So this one, I felt like everything was just landing. I loved it so much. And I gave this one, I think this one was like a 6-star read for me this year. I will reread this one many times and I will probably get the physical copy as well to have on my shelf because it'll just make me so happy. Okay, so next I read Gracie Gold's book. I was really into books being narrated by the author and I had the audiobook of this one on Libby. So this one was, I had to like take some breaks through this one because this one was dark. It's called Out of Shape Worthless Loser because that was kind of the persona that Gracie on herself while she was in like the height of her competitive career, and she's a figure skater who is an Olympian, a US champion. Like she had so many skating titles, but she also had a lot of mental health battles and things like that. She endured a lot from different people that she interacted with in the skating circuit. And I thought this was really good. It was like, I had to take it in chunks because it was just like hard to read the entire thing at once. I do applaud her for talking about some of the things that she talked about in this book because I know it's really hard to talk about mental health, especially with such a huge platform. And I think we all know that if you follow any sort of skating, she took a break and had to go kind of go to rehab, work on herself, that kind of thing, because the skating was just causing her to be very, very, very unwell. So this was her talking about that, and who knows if she'll return or if she'll maybe coach, or I don't know what she'll do, but I wish Gracie all the happiness in the world after everything that she endured. And I liked this. I think I gave it 4 stars. I might have given it 5. It's like a 4.5 for me. But again, I'm really into these kind of autobiographical memoir situations. So if you have any kind of like Hey Hun or this one, let me know. And this one I would not read if you have like any sort of disordered eating habits or past with that or anything like that, just because she brings it up a lot. So if you're feeling good about that, maybe you can read it, but otherwise I would maybe save it for later. But overall, I really like this one too. Okay, here's where things, look, I haven't even taken the sticker off of this. Oh my gosh, I need to take the sticker off. I bought this physical copy a long time ago when I bought the first book. I just bought all 3 of them because they're really beautiful books, and the inside is really pretty. I love Lauren Asher's writing, and I love the concept of this, that it's like the Dreamland billionaires. Dreamland is based off of Disneyland. There's 3 brothers. They each have certain things they have to do in order to get their portion of the company from their grandfather, who was the founder of Dreamland. And so this one was the second one. As you can see, I'm obsessed with the fact that when spines have that on there, it makes me so happy. It's so satisfying. My most recent bookshop that I did, where I went book shopping, it was like I couldn't ever find the first or the second one. It was like always just like somewhere later in the series, or nothing was on the spine. So I love it when it says that. This one I started reading on the plane on the way to California because I was going to Disneyland, and I met this girl on the plane and she suggested that I read this, and I actually already had it downloaded on my Kindle from Kindle Unlimited. So I was like, you know what, might as well, because I'm on the way there. She told me it's her favorite in the series, which I've heard from so many people, that this one is their favorite in the Dreamland Billionaires series. And so I was really excited. I loved Iris. Iris is the main character, or one of the main characters. I didn't love Declan. It was weird. I think after reflection, I vlogged this and I told you guys about this, and a lot of you messaged me on Instagram, which, by the way, I did change my Instagram username. I'm going to put it on the screen because I changed my username, and I think that might be kind of confusing because I had to go change all the links and everything, but all my videos still have the old username. So oops, I'll put the new name on there. But anyway, a lot of you guys messaged me on TikTok, on Instagram, just put comments on that video being like, oh my gosh, what didn't you like about it? And I was shocked at how many people were like offended that I didn't like this one as much. I gave this one like 3 stars, I think, like 3.5, 4 stars. I liked the concept of it. I really liked Iris. It was like a forced marriage, forced proximity situation, and then everything kind of unwound from there. Upon thinking about it, and I reread the chapter 32 onward, like I reread some of it, I would revise my review to a 4 for sure. I'm gonna tell you what I think happened. I was reading the audiobook for the second part of it. Like I love the first part. I read it on my Kindle on the plane. I think I got to like 35% just on the plane ride for a couple of hours, so it was a pretty quick read. But then I listened to the audiobook and I started hating it. And I do think that the narrators gave me the ick. And I'm so sorry to say that, but there was something about them. It was mostly him. It wasn't really her. I just think it's like wasn't the right, well, she had some weird things too. It just like the narrators weren't right for what was going on in the story, and it made the characters seem like they were really, really old for some reason. The vibe was just not right. I should have just stopped the audiobook. I should have returned it. I got it for like $3 because I already had the Kindle version, and sometimes Audible does that where like it'll offer you the Audible version for like literally $3 or $2, $2.99 or something, I think is what I paid. So I was like, oh, might as well get the audiobook. No, I do not recommend the audiobook. So I think that's kind of what gave me the ick about this book, is like some of the intimate scenes, some of things like that. It was just the audio was not it. So I would say I would revise this. Just the story, the whole entire thing, and how it ended. I really liked how it ended. I liked how things panned out, and I did really love Iris a lot. So I actually think I liked her better than I liked the characters in the first book, but I liked the first book better overall because it was set more in Dreamland. This one was kind of set all over the place, which was good and bad. Not bad. I just think I liked the dreamland atmosphere. So I would revise this one to say like 4 stars for sure. Just, I don't recommend the audiobook on that one, but this one is on Kindle Unlimited. The first one in the series is called The Fine Print, and that's the first. So I would start with that one. They can be read out of order, but I think it would help to have context. And then the next one is, I'll have to look, but the next one I'll definitely read just to kind of complete the series, and it's about the third brother who's mentioned a lot in this book. So I kind of like how they intertwine. Oh, that was another thing I had to say about this one actually, is that her relationship, Iris's relationship with Cal, the third brother, actually seemed healthier and better than her relationship with Declan, and I think that was part of one of my gripes. So let me know if you felt that way or you felt the opposite in the comments, or feel free to message me on one of those platforms and we can chat about it, because I think that was part of the reason why I was like, wait, why does Cal treat her better than the guy that she is with? So anyway, I digress. Next, I read Luna, and as you can see, I annotated and tabbed this one. This one was a really, really, really special story, and it's all about this rabbit that loses her footprints and has to go on this journey. I would liken this to The Alchemist or something like that, where it's like, it's a story about a character, but it's so much deeper than that. Like, it has layers and layers and layers, and it will probably not even hit me with all of the layers until I've read it multiple times. And I think at different points in your life, you might interpret this book in different ways. So I think this book is going to be different for everyone, but overall it was such a quick read. I think it took me just a couple of days, and I was excited to pick it up. Like, I was kind of in a reading slump before this, and then every time I had free time, I was just thinking about how much I wanted to see what was going to happen next in this book. So I feel like Luna honestly helped me get out of a reading slump, just because it was like so profound. It had like different quotes from famous authors, and I just wanted to know if Luna was ever going to figure this out. But again, The Alchemist is one of my very favorite books, and this really kind of gave those vibes, where it was just like so many things under the surface happening under the main story. So Julianne's really a gifted writer too. Like, this reminded me of just some of the classics, I would say, like just those writers that we think about that were like, oh my gosh, how did they even put that thought to paper in such a profound way? Like, my mind was just blown. So I love this one, and I highly suggest it. I gave it 5 stars. Okay, I do not know what is happening with my Kindle, but whenever I click on this book, just nothing happens. This is a little bit worrisome. Anyway, I'll just tell you about it. And it's kind of funny because Jeneva Rose's other books are in here too, because I got them from the library. But oh my gosh, what is wrong with this? Do I need to restart my Kindle again? Okay, we're gonna restart this. I'm gonna find it on the Kobo. Hold on. This is a little bit worrying. I was about to do my Kindle/Kobo comparison. Kindle, what's happening? What is going on with my prized paperwhite? Okay, we're gonna let the Kindle figure things out, but I will show you on here, especially because now you can see the color cover. So next I read You Shouldn't Have Come Here. My friend Erica recommended this one. Thank you so much, Erica. And I love when you guys recommend books to me, because I feel like it's just, then I know it's gonna be good, and I love it so much. And I have not read anything by Jeneva Rose, but this is my first one. I am obsessed with this book. This was like a 5.5, 6-star book for me, because it was like, I just felt like it was creepy in all the right ways. It reminded me of Freida, but I almost even liked it better, I dare say. I love Freida so much, so it's like blasphemy to say that. But I just felt like a lot of people, I was reading the reviews on this one too, because it only had 4 stars. So I was like, should I read this? What is happening over here? Okay, figure yourself out. Let's see if it'll load. My God, Kindle. Whoa, what was that? Glitching all over the place. Okay. Anyway, Jeneva Rose has also read these other books, and I've heard The Perfect Marriage is really good. Actually, I think there's another one. There's another one that I have since those came out. But anyway, back to You Shouldn't Have Come Here. It is about a woman who goes to an Airbnb in Wyoming, and she does a thing every year where she throws like a dart at the wall and on a map and just goes wherever the dart tells her to go. And it said Wyoming. So she went to this ranch in Dubois, Wyoming, which is funny. I've actually been there because I went there for the eclipse a couple of years ago. And so I have like a t-shirt from Dubois, Wyoming. So it was very specific. There's no cell service and no Wi-Fi on this ranch. And she goes there. Obviously the rancher, the Airbnb host, is very handsome. Some things ensue, and it kind of goes back and forth between their two perspectives. Things unfold. It was kind of funny because at the beginning of this book, the narrator talked about how she had books that she brought with her to the Airbnb to read. And some of them were like beach reads, some were thrillers and all these different things. This book, I think, was ironically supposed to be like a beach read plus a thriller at the same time. It's obviously not set at the beach, but I think some of the complaints and some of the lower reviews were talking about how there was like some insta love, some things were like cringe or cheesy, but I think that was how it was supposed to be. Like, I think it was supposed to be like that so that it was creepy when all the things happened at the end. Like, it was like la 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 creepy, la 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 creepy. Like at the end of every single chapter, there was like a creepy line. Like, it was just like a line that was really out of place. Just like, oh, by the way, you're reading a thriller. It was like, oh, okay. There were so many directions this thing could have gone. Then I hit 90%, crazy things started happening. And then even crazier things started happening at like 97, 98, 99%. Like the last page, I was gasping. I was like, are you for real? Somebody left me a TikTok comment, and I'll actually, if I remember, screenshot and put it on here because I made a little TikTok review about this. So follow me on TikTok and Goodreads if you want to like be a little bit more up to date, because this is where I put my like long format videos where I can really chat with you guys. Feels like we're hanging out, and then I put like shorter things on the other social media forms. So this one was crazy. It was absolutely insane. I wanted more immediately. I wish there was like a prequel. I want to know more about this character, like Jeneva Rose. Please write like a prequel or a second one, because I feel like this could easily be the next Housemaid series, like, easily. So I would eat it up. So this was amazing. I'm obsessed with this book, and I really want to read more Jeneva Rose. And I was talking to Erica, who recommended it to me, and she said she loved The Perfect Marriage. And there's another book that I got from the library too. So anyway, this one, absolutely amazing. Again, I think some people maybe just didn't love it because it was like a little cringe for them, but like I think it was supposed to be that way. So I got it. I got you, Jeneva Rose. And then after that, I started reading The Resort because I just needed another thriller. I told everyone that I was going to do Romantasy September, and I was going to read all the Romantasy books, and I was going to read Quicksilver, all this stuff. What did I do? I just need another thriller. And I specifically was looking at this one, and I was like, it reminds me of White Lotus. It's a book of the month book, by the way. And it's about this mystery. A couple of murders happen at a resort, and it's set on like a fictional island in Thailand. It is definitely unfolding in a very, I don't know, nefarious way. And here's the description. It's two perspectives. It's Brooke and Cass, and I think there's actually maybe a third narrator because the prologue was kind of interesting, and I don't think it was one of them. But it's always like you have to figure out who to trust. People's identities aren't who we think they are. And I think I'm like 30% of the way done with this one. So I'm going to finish The Resort. That's the one I'm currently reading. And as far as my TBR, I obviously have an ARC that I need to read, I think. Let me look. I put it on my Kobo as well. But I have so many books that I need to read. This one is called The Island Arrangement. This is an ARC that I think I just got like 2 days ago. And this one is like obviously an arrangement where they're supposed to be in a relationship. So it's like a forced proximity situation, but then obviously I think things happen. I think someone is like undercover. I'm not sure, but it's by Eloise Tynan, and I think it comes out on September 16th. So I'll let you know how this one goes. I like how I'm reading all these like island things. And then I also have a ton of Romantasy. I have Quicksilver, which I keep telling everyone that I'm going to read, but then I get like really caught up in the fact that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to like learn this entire world, and there's a pronunciation guide, which kind of scared me, but also simultaneously made me really excited for it. So Quicksilver is, I need to read this soon. Like, it's just been omnipresent hanging over my life that I need to read this one. I also need to read The Veiled Kingdom, and this one, like, I think part of the reason I've been hesitant to read Quicksilver is because the audiobook doesn't come out until like October, and you guys know that I think part of the key for me of staying out of the reading slump is having an audiobook so that I'm always immersed in what I'm reading, like whether I'm like doing the dishes or cleaning or driving or whatever. I think it really, really helps me to be able to have the audiobook as well, which is a luxury, but sometimes the audiobook is cheap, and then sometimes I can have it on Libby, so it just works out really well. I do have The Veiled Kingdom. That's another romantasy one. That one I've heard is really, really good. Second one I've heard is iffy, but I want to listen to that one. That one, the audiobook comes out in like 2 days. Actually, it might even be tomorrow. I made a little romantasy collection on here as like a TBR because my collections help me stay organized and not be so cluttered with everything. So you can see I also have The Shattered Kingdom, King of Frost and Shadows, Heavenbreaker. My friend's stuff said that one was really good. And then, oh my gosh, Hollow Heathens. This one, everyone has told me is so good for fall, so I'm gonna have to read it so I can recommend you guys fall books. Nightbane is the sequel to Lightlark by Alex Astor. I've been waiting for the third one to come out because that one, like, it left us on a cliffhanger the first episode, the first book, and I just like need to be able to finish the series all at the same time. Serpent of the Wings of Night. I've seen people recommending that on their fall recommendations as well, just because of vampires. And then I also really need to read, It's Funny Things Are Like King and Queen, When the Moon Hatched, but I've heard such mixed reviews about When the Moon Hatched as well. So those are some of the books on my TBR. I also have some library books, like this one called Havenfall that looks really good. The Perfect Marriage. Here's the other Geneva Rose one, One of Us is Dead, and The Perfect Marriage. Book of a Thousand Days, Not in Love, Spark of the Everflame. Like, guys, there's just too many. Oh, The Wedding People. You can barely see this one. But The Wedding People and Just for the Summer, like, so many books, so little time. The Coven, I've heard so many good things about, but I'm scared it's going to be like Gothicana. So if you've read that one, let me know. Oh my gosh, I just realized that I've been filming this for 46 minutes and the sun is going down. So obviously I think edited this will be a lot shorter than 46 minutes, but that is kind of my little update because I feel like I haven't filmed one in forever. But coming up for you guys, I have a Kobo versus Kindle full comparison because I never really did one, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to do just a Kobo review as well, or a Kobo Libra color review, obviously, and kind of like the Kobo ecosystem, and then I will compare the two as well. Those will probably be 2 separate videos. Fall reads, books to get you out of a slump, and then obviously just reading vlogs. So I have a lot of videos coming out for you guys, and I also need to edit some of those travel videos too and see if the footage is viable or not. So please, please, please make sure that you subscribe to see all of those come out. And I reply to every single comment, or at least I try to. So please make sure you leave your thoughts on anything that I talked about below. If you have any books to recommend, please recommend them for my ever-growing TBR. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Goodreads. And please give this video a big like. I know it seems so silly for me to ask, but it does actually help me to grow my community. And I'm hoping to do like a book swap for the holidays or something. So the more subscribers, the better, because then we'll have more people that we can swap books with and have just like a cool giveaway or something. I'm also even like thinking about Vlogmas and like doing like the 25 days of Bookmas or something like that. We'll see. So many fun ideas, but thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being my book besties, and I will see you in the next video.